Madelyn and Quentin's 56th wedding anniversary fell on a Sunday. Madelyn knew that the church service that day was going to be really special. There was going to be outstanding music, former members and ministers would be in attendance, and she was pretty sure that there would be a cake afterward to celebrate their anniversary. But Quentin's progressing prostate cancer and incontinence issues really interfered with their sleep. Madelyn had been up with him 3 times the night before, and that morning she simply did not have the physical or emotional energy to get him ready to go. So she fixed breakfast, got herself dressed, and then she got him out to the garden where he could sit in the sunshine. As she was backing off of the driveway, she waved goodbye, and he waved back rather half-heartedly. And by the time she got to the end of the driveway, she was already feeling guilty because she hadn't even asked him if he wanted to go. And by the time she drove the 6 miles to town and pulled up in front of the church, she was really beating herself up. She was thinking, oh, I could have gotten some of the younger big guys to come out to the car, and they would have helped get Quentin out and up the stairs to the entryway. They could have gotten him on the lift and into the sanctuary, and I know they would have helped him get back down afterward to the basement. And she was just feeling really fragile and terribly guilty by the time the service started. And then the minister read this poem. It's called Look at Me. The author is unknown, and I've been told that it was found when a family was cleaning out their mother's nursing home room a few days after she died. And here's the poem. What do you see, nurses? What do you see? What are you thinking when you're looking at me? A crabby old woman, not very wise, uncertain of habit with faraway eyes, who dribbles her food and makes no reply when you say in a loud voice, oh, I do wish you'd try, who seems not to notice the things that you do and is forever losing a stocking or shoe, who, resisting or not, lets you do as you will with the bathing and feeding, the long day to fill. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you see? Then open your eyes, nurse. You're not looking at me. I'll tell you who I am as I sit here so still, as I use at your bidding, as I eat at your will. I'm a small child of 10 with a father and mother, brothers and sisters who love one another. A young girl of 16 with wings on her feet, dreaming soon that a lover she'll meet. A bride soon at 20, my heart gives a leap, remembering the vows that I promised to keep. At 25 now, I have young of my own who need me to guide and secure a happy home. A woman of 30, my young now growing fast, bound to each other with ties that should last. At 40, my young sons have grown and are gone, but my man's beside me to see I don't mourn. At 50, once more babies play around my knee. Again we know children, my loved one and me. Dark days are upon me, my husband is dead. I look at the future. I shudder with dread. For my young are all rearing young of their own, and I think of the years and the love that I've known. I'm now an old woman, and nature is cruel. 'Tis jest to make old age look like a fool. The body it crumbles, grace and vigor depart. There's now a stone where I once had a heart. But inside this carcass a young girl still dwells, and now and again my battered heart swells. I remember the joys and I remember the pain, and I'm loving and living life all over again. I think of the years, all too few, gone too fast, and I accept the stark fact that nothing can last. So open your eyes, nurse, open and see, not a crabby old woman. Look closer, see me. Well, as you can imagine, that poem pushed Madelyn over the edge, and she started crying. After the service, she went down to the basement. She walked up to Charles Prather, the beloved baritone of the Congregational Church, and she said, Charles, don't you dare sing happy anniversary to me today. And he said, oh, but Madelyn, I've already been told by 2 people to do it. And she said, if you do, I will lose it, and I will never get it back." So he didn't. And afterward, on the drive back to the farm, she cried all the way home. She got Quentin seated at the kitchen table, and she cried and cried and cried as she told him how guilty she felt for leaving him there alone. And Quentin said, "Well, I feel like crying too." But he didn't, which really surprised me because, like most stroke survivors, Quentin had a hair-trigger emotional switch. Television commercials often moved him to tears, and when he was listening to his talking books and he thought one of the characters was going to get in some kind of trouble or possibly someone was going to die, he would break down and sob. So why did he say, "Well, I feel like crying," but he didn't when my mother was so terribly distraught? Well, it took me a long time to figure it out, but one day it just hit me and I thought, of course he didn't cry. And you know why? Because he knew if Madelyn felt that badly, that she wasn't going to leave him at home anymore. She was either going to stay there with him or she was going to take him along wherever she went. Now, I think Madelyn guilt-tripped herself. I think she also allowed Quentin to make her feel guilty by being sad. He never used anger as a weapon, but when he dropped his chin on his chest and he got so sad, she pretty much did anything he wanted. This was a long-term pattern in their relationship. It worked pretty well for Quentin because he usually got what he wanted. I'm not so sure that it worked that well for Madelyn.